All right, getting ready for a Weaving Machine Supervisor interview. We're going deep with RoleCatcher to help you totally nail it. Career guides, interview questions, even how AI can boost your game.
It's a really cool resource figuring out this job. We'll focus on those important interview questions, but we'll also sprinkle in some insights from the career guide and how RoleCatcher's AI can help you fine-tune things.
Sounds good. Before we jump into the questions, maybe set the stage. What exactly does a Weaving Machine Supervisor DO, and what's going on in the industry right now?
A weaving machine supervisor, they're like the conductor of the whole yarn to fabric process. They make sure those machines are hunting, troubleshoot problems, and keep that quality control tight. And it's a job that's changing, especially with more automation and digital stuff coming in.
Right, makes sense. RoleCatcher's career guide, it talks about the good and the bad of this career path. More money and room to move up, those definitely stand out.
For sure. But gotta be real, it can be tough physically, noisy, dusty, maybe even shift work. Important to know what you're getting into.
Totally. Informed decisions, right? The guide also shows how the job changes as you climb the ladder. Entry level, maybe you're helping fix loom problems. Senior level, you might be planning maintenance or training the new folks.
Yeah, exactly. A career you can grow in, that's always a good sign. So, ready to tackle those interview questions.
Hit me. Let's start with, describe your experience working with different types of weaving machines. I'm guessing they want more than just a list, right?
Oh, yeah. They want to see you know your stuff. Don't just say rapier loom. Go deeper. What fabrics did you make? Problems you ran into? Maybe even a project that shows what you can do.
So like, I've used rapier looms a lot, making those fancy jacquard patterns for upholstery fabrics. One challenge was keeping the tension even so the fabric wouldn't pucker.
Perfect. That's real experience, specific techniques. Now imagine they ask, what's the difference between rapier, air jet, and water jet looms? When would you pick one over the other?
Uh-oh, technical stuff. Gotta explain that rapier looms use a little thing to carry the yarn, air jet uses hair, water jet uses water. Each one's good for different fabrics, different speeds.
Exactly. That's where prep comes in. And speaking of prep, RoleCatcher's AI, it can look at job descriptions and tell you what skills the employers really want. Then it helps you tweak your answers to show off those skills.
That's smart using tech like that.
Hmm.
Okay, question 2. How do you ensure that weaving machines are maintained and repaired in a timely manner? This one's about being organized, thinking ahead, I bet.
It is. You got to show you have a system for preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
Schedules, spotting problems before they get big, how you decide which repairs to do first.
Would it help to mention the software used, like a textile management system to track maintenance?
Definitely. Shows you know the tools and how things work in the industry. Now, what if they say, tell me about a time a machine broke down suddenly. How did you handle it?
That's a story time. Clear and quick using the STOR method. Describe what happened, what needed to be done, how you figured out the problem and fixed it, and the good result you got.
Even when it's a surprise, it's about how you approach it, how you solve problems.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can help too, right? Giving feedback on practice answers.
Yeah, you record yourself answering, and the AI tells you about your pace, how clear you are, even if you're using the right industry lingo, like a practice run with an expert and a coach for how you speak.
Seriously, analyzing my tone, pauses, all that.
Super insightful. Say you're talking about fixing a tough loom problem. It might notice you hesitate or suggest you say more than just, I fixed it. Give details to show your technical skills.
That kind of feedback is gold. I tend to ramble when I'm nervous. Can the AI guess what they'll ask next? Those follow-up questions.
This is where it gets cool. RoleCatcher's AI has learned from tons of interview questions and answers. So based on what you say first, it can predict those follow-ups. You'll be ready for anything.
So like, if I'm talking about a new safety rule I made, the AI might say, be ready for them to ask how you dealt with people resisting the change, or how you measured if the rule worked.
Right on, like peeking into the interviewer's head. And remember those questions where you gotta tell a story about something that happened at work? RoleCatcher's AI can help you structure that story, make it short, powerful, and fit the job perfectly.
This is amazing. Like a coach for telling stories, it seems like RoleCatcher's AI has the whole interview process covered.
It's a really complete tool. But even with all this tech, don't forget the human side.
True, it's still two people talking.
Mhm.
So how do you balance showing what you know with letting your personality come through?
That's the key, and that's exactly what we'll dive into next time. Stay tuned to find out how to really connect and make a great impression.
Welcome back. We're going even deeper into how RoleCatcher's AI can be like your secret weapon in getting ready for this interview. Going through all those interview questions, it really hit me how important it is to show you've got the technical skills and those people skills for a weaving supervisor. But AI, how does that fit in? It still feels kind of sci-fi to me.
It does sound futuristic, but AI is changing how we apply for jobs, big time. Think of RoleCatcher's AI like a career coach, just for you. It goes through those job descriptions, figures out exactly what skills and experience the employers want, and then it helps you make your resume and cover letter perfect, highlighting those things.
So it's not just about using the right keywords anymore.
It's more than keywords. RoleCatcher's AI gets what those requirements really mean. Like if they say reducing machine downtime is important, the AI might say, hey, put some numbers on your accomplishments. Like I made a maintenance plan that cut downtime by 15%.
Wow, that's cool. It's like having someone who can translate between like HR language and weaving supervisor language. What about the actual interview? Can AI help with that too?
Absolutely. With RoleCatcher, you can record yourself answering practice questions. And their AI, it checks out how you're doing, tells you about your pace, if you're clear, even if you're using the right words for the industry. Like a mock interview with a weaving pro and the speech coach, all in one.
Seriously. It's
Ah.
looking at my tone of voice, my pauses, all of that.
Yeah, it's really insightful. Say you're talking about fixing a really tough problem on a loom. The AI might notice if you sound unsure or tell you to say more than, I fixed it. Give those details that show off your skills.
That feedback would be so helpful. I'm a bit of a rambler when I get nervous. Can it even guess the follow-up questions, the ones they throw at you unexpectedly?
This is the coolest part. RoleCatcher's AI, it's learned from a huge amount of interview questions and answers. So from what you say first, it can actually predict what they'll ask next. Keeps you on your toes.
So like if I'm talking about a new safety rule I put in place, the AI might say, get ready. They might ask how you dealt with people who didn't like the change or how you proved the rule was working.
Exactly, like you're getting a sneak peek into their minds. And those behavioral questions, where you have to tell a story from your work experience, RoleCatcher's AI can help you organize that story, make sure it's short, strong, and a perfect fit for the job.
This is blowing my mind. Like a storytelling coach? Seems like RoleCatcher's AI has every part of the interview covered.
It's a really powerful tool. But even with all this amazing tech, don't forget we need that human connection too.
Right, in the end, it's still two people talking. How do you balance, like, showing off what you know and also just being yourself, being likable?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's exactly what we're going to explore in the last part of this deep dive. Stick with us, we'll reveal how to really connect and make that lasting impression.
Back again for our deep dive. We've covered the tech stuff, even how AI can help you prep. But now let's talk about that human touch. How do you really connect with the interviewer and make them remember you?
It's like you want to show off what you know, but also let your real personality come through. You're not just a bunch of skills on a resume. You're a person, right? With passions, reasons for doing what you do, your own unique way of looking at things.
So instead of just listing off everything I've achieved, maybe I should share what really gets me excited about the weaving industry.
Exactly. Maybe you love those intricate jacquard designs, or maybe it's the precision of setting up the machines perfectly that gets you going. Let that excitement show. It makes you more relatable, someone they'll remember.
It's like weaving in those personal details. Makes the whole picture more interesting. What about listening? I know it's important to be a good listener, but how does that work in an interview?
Active listening, it's more than just hearing words. It's about really engaging with the person, asking questions to make sure you understand, showing that you're genuinely interested in what they have to say, shows respect, makes the conversation more lively.
So instead of just waiting for my turn to talk, I should be right there in the moment, noticing their cues, responding in a thoughtful way. Kind of like a dance, back and forth, not just a stiff routine.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget about body language. Eye contact, a real smile, even a little nod to show you're with them. Those things matter.
It's like projecting confidence and that you're really into this, even if you're nervous inside.
Speaking of being into it, remember how RoleCatcher's career guide talked about always learning new stuff in textiles? That's something you can bring up too.
Oh yeah, that shows I'm willing to learn and grow, keep up with this field that's always changing.
Right. You could mention an article you read about eco-friendly fabrics or a class you're thinking of taking about those smart fabrics with sensors. Shows you're thinking ahead, serious about your career.
It's about showing them I'm a lifelong learner, always up for a challenge, new opportunities.
And it all comes back to that human connection. When you really talk about what you're passionate about, how you want to keep growing, that makes an impact, a real connection.
It's the difference between reading a textbook and having a mentor, right? One gives you facts, the other inspires you.
So as you prep for this interview, remember, it's not just checking boxes, giving the right answers. It's about showing who you are, your skills, your experience, but also your passion.
It's like combining the technical stuff with the human side to create something that really stands out. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive. We explored the job, broke down those interview questions, saw how AI can be a big help, and even figured out how to make a genuine connection.
Hope you found this helpful, maybe even inspiring. Remember, you got this.
Go get 'em. Ace that interview. Start your journey as a Weaving Machine Supervisor. Good luck.